a lot of these passport bros video going around where American women are getting kind of upset that men are leaving America to find their woman.
No, dear. I understand the perspective that you're bringing, but no, the American women aren't upset that American men are leaving. American women are upset that American men are taking their resources and finding foreign wives and pedestalizing those foreign wives above these American women who could barely afford to make their rent and their mortgage and their car payments. And on top of that, they are disgusted by the fact that these American men are creating families that can't be ruined by American feminism. And they will have fathers in their homes, mothers in their homes, so they'll have complete families, while their own kids will be going to school without having a complete family at home. And therefore, the father in the home will help provide for that family, and they will have a far more stable home environment than these single mother raised children. So it's actually very, very complicated. Well, when you really think about it, it's simple, but when you have to think about all the variables that go into it, it becomes more complicated. So the reality is they're pissed off because men are getting a better deal. That's what they're pissed off about.
But they go to places where women speak a little English, no education whatsoever. However, that's not the reason. The reason why men do that is because the women out there are loving, caring, nourishing.
And that's where I absolutely agree with you. Loving, caring, nourishing. But the problem is, you know what? You use this word feminine. Now, Kevin Samuels suggested that women need to be fit, feminine, and friendly, right? But here's the problem. This feminist disease that's in America, it's as bad as the cordyceps fungus in The Last of Us, the show. Basically, most of these men have become so beaten down that they don't even know what they don't know what the word feminine means anymore. It's that bad. It's really that bad. They don't even know what that word means anymore. Like, they are not 100% certain what a woman is like if she's feminine because they, in many cases, haven't experienced it. They've had their single mama raising them, breathing down their neck, and they think that's feminine, but it's not. And that's the sad thing about it. So, I agree with your perspective. Unfortunately, you don't understand our mentality because you're not from here. Fortunately for you, because if you were from here, you'd be ruined too. And I'm glad that you're not. I'm glad that you're out there somewhere away from the disease.
Feminine. And the food, like, top notch. So it's like essentially what a man want. Chinese, I'm from Hong Kong. We do shit on men a lot. We are bossy. However, we do been praising them when they're being an excellent man. Versus, I've seen a lot of women in America, they would be like, as he should.
Yes, you see, the thing about it is, yeah, granted, men need some levels of correction sometimes. But what's happening here to men in America, it is indoctrination. It is henpecking. It would be a crime. In fact, like, fortunately, in most of the patriarchies in the world, these things would never be allowed to happen. But what's happening to American men is a crime. It's like a crime against humanity itself. And it reminds me of The Dark Knight, where Bane made that comment. He said, "Peace has cost you your strength. Victory has defeated you." And what it is that we civilized America and we made America safe from enemies. And basically the women got so comfortable that this feminist disease was allowed to grow like a fungus, like the cordyceps fungus in The Last of Us. It was allowed to grow, and now it's spreading and it infects everything it touches. And it's just ruining life in many cases. Well, but there are bright spots because there are some parts of the world where it will never be able to infect. Like I point at most of these Islamic states, and I look at like countries like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. Yeah, they won't have much luck with feminism over there. Not at all. And also parts of Asia like China and some parts of the Koreas. There's some places where it just won't be allowed. I mean, even if you do have a matriarchy, feminism won't be allowed to ruin the men. It just won't be allowed because the men are actively working as men, and there is no gender dysphoria. There's no confusion. It's like they know who they are and they know what they are, and they're not allowing any goddamn school to tell them otherwise. They're not allowing any indoctrination to try to tell them otherwise. So thank God for that. Even if America goes down, there are other parts of the world that people can actually still exist in.
You see the difference? Like, that's just very ungrateful. Men are really easy to please. Just give him his time and space. Be his peace of mind instead of a headache when he come home.
Yes, be a man's peace of mind instead of a headache. I mean, think about it. The guy's out there and he has to fight with the world and he has to compete with the world. Why would he want to have to come home and compete and fight with his wife? Why would he want that? He wouldn't. That's the whole point.
Respect him. Appreciate him. Let him lead. Trust him. Believe in him. I'm very traditional, and maybe some women are not like that and they don't like that, which is fine. Do whatever that works well for you. And what I've been doing has been working very, very well for me. That's why I'm just, sharing a little secret.
No, no, no. I'm an independent woman, just like Beyonce said. I'm putting together my money so I can go to the Beyonce concert because Beyonce, she told me that I need to be an independent woman. You know the song, right? I know you're Chinese, but maybe you don't know the song. The song goes, all the ladies independent, throw your hands up in the air. All the ladies in Mercedes, throw your hands up in the air. Charlie, how your angels get down like that? Tell me how your angels get down like that.
It's so simple, but it seems like a lot of women don't understand that. Don't get me wrong, you can be an excellent woman, and once in a while you still run into some assholes, right? So,
No kidding.
again, go where you're respected. If it's not working out, leave and go where you're respected. And keep doing you. Be a good woman. You will find a man, for sure.
I think you mean be fit, feminine, and friendly. Well, thank you, my Chinese sister, for trying to speak some knowledge into these women here in America. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm going to invoke fair use in order to talk a little bit about this story, and I'm only going to use a small amount of the video, and then I'll probably go on over to the actual article to talk about it a little bit. So really, the article is Chinese singles face the heat over the holiday. Now, the video is, and I'll post a link. Obviously, you can see what it is. It's at China Insights. Chinese New Year brings dread to unmarried people. Low fertility leads society to add pressure. Okay, so let's understand what's happening here. And I've said this before, probably in another video a long time ago. In America, there's a day for every single event. And one of those days, at least, is going to make you feel like shit. There's Father's Day. Now, for those of you who don't have a father in the home or you grew up in a single-parent home with your mother, Father's Day is going to make you feel like shit. Now, I'm fortunate because I had both my parents before I was conceived, and you've probably seen my father in some of my gun videos where I take him to the range and we're shooting and stuff. So I have a father in my life. So I'm very fortunate. I also have a mother too. There are some single fathers who hold down households and don't have women in the household. So, I'm fortunate to have those. Then there's other days, like Mother's Day. What happens if you're a woman and you don't have any children? Well, that'd make you feel terrible because you're here. What are you celebrating? Like you get your mom something, but you ain't got no kids to get you anything. You don't even have a little baby to make you a card in kindergarten class to bring home, like one of those. You know how like when you're a kid in your kindergarten and you're cutting out hearts and stuff for mom and on Mother's Day. Yeah, you don't have that. What about if you're a father and you don't have children to make you stuff like that? That make you feel terrible, you know? Or what happens if you have parents who died? It's like your Father's Day or your Mother's Day is now a day you dread because now you're reminded about it, you know? Or now, by the way, today is February. I believe we're going on February 3rd right now because it's nighttime. Valentine's Day is coming up. There are a lot of women who won't be going out to dinner dates, and there's no man to take them out. The statistics have already said by 2030, 45% of these women are going to be single and childless. And the passport bros, like somebody had a video earlier, I think it was BMT Travels, and he was talking about the fact, passport bros were dragged into a gender war. But I sent him a message. I was like, no. The passport bros weren't dragged into a gender war. The passport bros are the logical conclusion of a gender war. In fact, the passport bros are black men, because, the passport bros specifically are black men, but we're black men triumphant in the gender war. So you have to start thinking about this in terms of, yes, this is a gender war, but we've already won. And we're triumphant because what we did was we beat the system. We took our passports, we went to greener pastures. And that's how you got to think about it. I don't want to digress. So I'm only going to look at small snippets of this video because, I'm invoking fair use. So very, very small snippets of the video.
Shows that the number of online searches for marriage push peaks around the new year each year. Daughter, Dad has been urging you to get married since the year before.
Now, as you know, Kevin Samuels pointed out to us, in China, it's brutal when it comes to you being an unmarried woman at a certain age. Now, when I lived in China, one of the things that I noticed very quickly is, there's a lot of small apartments. A lot of the I guess you call them young adults, but a lot of them live with their parents. My next door neighbor, I was at Guoding Road, right down the block from Fudan University. My next door neighbor, two parents, and they had a son about my age, and he was living in this little ass apartment with his parents. Now, the way that these apartments were designed was there was basically a 2-bedroom apartment. One of the bedrooms was smaller than the other. And it was significantly smaller. I probably still have pictures on my phone because, see, back then we didn't have iPhones, so I couldn't take videos. But it was a 2-bedroom apartment, a very small family sitting room, like a very small, I guess you could call it a living room. And then on top of that, there was a kitchen. But it was a very small apartment designed kind of like the letter Y. So the 2 prongs of the letter Y were the 2 bedrooms, and the stick is the living room and the kitchen, so that I could give you a better idea how it was designed. But these young adults live in these apartments, these small-ass apartments with their parents. And their parents breathing down their neck. The only respite that they get from their parents is to go to school. So if they get to go to college or something, or they get to go to a university, that's like the only chance they get to get away from them. Other than that, they're living they're living under them, basically. It's ridiculous. So if you are over the age of 27 and you are single and childless, in China, the term is shengnu, which means leftover woman. And I brought this up before. Kevin Samuels was the one who introduced it to most of you. In Japan, if you're 27 or older and you're unmarried, they call you Christmas cake. And the Japanese men, they don't want Christmas cake. Christmas cake? Oh, no. No, want the Christmas cake. No Christmas cake. No Christmas cake. No. They don't want Christmas cake. The Japanese men want fresh cake that's new. They don't want Christmas cake. Because what it is Christmas cake is leftover cake. They don't want leftover cake. Now, the beautiful, well, I'll get to that in a second. Let's get back to the video.
Last. It's the third year now, and it's really a yearly struggle. This year, I'm being urged to ask you to get married again. The ancient poem says, "Be joyful in life."
Now, when we're talking about tradition and traditional marriage, okay, so I've got Chinese friends and I've lived in China. So I feel that I can speak on this with some level of understanding. Not to mention that I speak Mandarin and I read, write, and type it. When it comes to tradition, the way the Chinese usually do it, and I've been to a couple of Chinese weddings, by the way, usually the grandparents and the family, they have savings, and they usually purchase the first house for the newlywed couple. So this is your granddaughter, your grandson, whatever it is, right? What they'll do is they'll purchase their house, and this way that newlywed couple can live without a mortgage. And that means that what's going to happen is that woman is going to have children. The children are going to be taken care of by the grandparents. And then what's going to happen is as the grandparents get older, the mother is going to quit her job and she's going to live off the husband. And then the mother is going to go and take care of the parents. Now, obviously, the husband has his own parents and the mother has her own parents. So the mother in this situation will end up being a caretaker to both sets of parents. So the Chinese have a very efficient system for keeping a tight family unit, and they have a very efficient system for keeping money in the family. Because you think about all the money that you're saving, not having to go out and get child care or not having to go out and get parental care. See, when the feminists in America talk down about tradition and traditional marriage and whatnot, and they talk about arranged marriages, what they're omitting is the fact that these cultures, like, first of all, the Chinese are, thousands of years older than America is. And when you really look at America, America's like, we're less than 500 years old, or we're definitely less, we're not as old as they are. We're less than 500 years old, and our marriage system is already falling apart. You've already got the men grabbing passports so they can go overseas and get better deals. So obviously, the traditional marriage, like when you look at the Chinese or you look at Islam, obviously they know something that we don't. Obviously they figured something out a long time ago that we didn't. And that's the reason why their culture will continue to exist till the end of time. And America may not last next week. Especially, we got Chinese weather balloons and shit floating above us. God knows what's in that weather balloon. And they're afraid to shoot it down. Donald Trump had to come out and say, yeah, shoot the goddamn balloon down. The Chinese got weather balloons floating above our heads. And we're afraid to shoot them down. So I have to assume these people know something that we don't. I have to assume. But anyway, let me not digress. Hold on.
We're now facing our friends and family. What can we take to express our joy? People say, friends are to be found everywhere in life. You are always hiding at home. How can you...
Okay, so what you end up having is you end up having a lot of Chinese incels. You got Chinese female incels, you got Chinese male incels. And these parents are right on top of you. They are in the next room demanding that you get married. And your Chinese father is going to let you have it. Just like this guy right here. He's coming at you. And he's going to let you have it. Now, here in America, you can't come at these kids like that because these kids will fight you and shit. Like, these would be your own kids. Dad, stay out of my business. Like, in China, that shit don't happen like that. Like, it's totally different. So, here's the thing. During Chinese New Year, as they're saying, and we're going to read a little bit of the article, these people dread being home with their parents. They dread it, just as the article suggests, because they know that when they come home, there's hell to pay if they're not fitting the model of, the role that the Chinese traditional role. If you're not fitting that, your dad's going to be up your ass, just like this guy.
Meet a man. Don't you feel that home is a bit empty and lonely?
I don't want to be like this either, right?
You don't want to be like this. People say that practice is the test of truth. You should at least.
Now here you got dad trying to talk sense into the daughter, right? Dad's trying to talk sense into the daughter. And the thing about it, what's crazy is this dude acts like he's freaking Pai Mei on top of a mountain giving you kung fu lessons. And the daughter's not trying to hear it.
Take action and get out of the door. Mom and Dad are concerned about your personal matter, so it can be said that they are restless and very anxious all day long. Think about it. There is still more than a month before the new year. How are you going to face this approaching panic? How will...
Now, Dad is actively telling daughter, it's time to get out there and it's time to get married. I don't want you living here. It's time for you to get the hell out my house. And this is Dad right there. Now, I want you to notice the mom is sitting there calm, quiet. She ain't saying nothing. Because mom is basically, it's like she's down. She's like, yo, this is Dad telling you what to do and you better do it. And that's it. Mom, look how stoic mom is. Mom is just standing right there, her nose turned up at you. You're such a disgrace. Shung Yu. You're a disgrace.
are you? Don't you know in your own mind? As long as your personal matter is not solved, Mom...
Look at mom's nose, how she's turned her nose up at you. Now, mom's hairline is receding a little bit because she's getting older. But Dad is just letting you have it. Dad's standing over you like Elon Musk, yelling at you. And mom is just standing there nice and calm, nice and quiet, stoic, reserved. And Dad is letting your ass have it. It's amazing.
Dad will be worried and feel a great headache. This family has raised you for more than 20 years. It's time to find love.
Oh, I know. I'm up. I'm getting up and...
So now she's shouting back. She's shouting back at Dad. Oh, I know. I'm up. I'm getting up and taking action. And Dad is like, oh, okay, finally. I think I must have talked some sense into her. This guy is standing. Dad is standing there looking like Chairman Mao with mom's nose turned up at you. And now you're trying to face the tank that's coming at you, and you're putting your hand up at the tank. And the tank is about to roll your ass over because this is the Red Revolution.
taking action.
You have 5 minutes. Let's go. Young people...
Dad just laid down the law. You got 5 minutes. Wu Fin Zong. You got Wu Fin Zong. 5 minutes. Dad laid it down. So this is what we're talking about right here. So anyway, I'm not going to use much more of this video because the thing about it is I think you get the message. These Chinese parents ain't playing. And me personally, as a black male who's growing up in an America that has virtually like no fucking structure at all, and they're trying to destroy the patriarchy altogether, it's like I got to appreciate this. In fact, no, you know what? I want to use one more piece. This is the mom. This is a mom, Chinese mom, letting your ass have it. Look at this.
You've grown up so much. Why can't you find a girl who likes you?
Now, this is what happens when you live in mom. Now, see, here in America, we have basements because we have houses, right? But just as I told you, my Chinese friend, they live in a little ass apartment. So your mom is living in the apartment with you, and she's right in the next room, and she's breathing down your neck every goddamn day, breathing down your neck. Mom runs in that room. Hey, incel, get up. You got to go get your woman now. Go get a woman. I deserve grandchildren. Go get a woman. Mom's not playing with you. See, this is the problem. See, here in America, they will let your ass sit right down there in mom's basement playing Mega Man video games, watching anime. And you're playing Mega Man, you're watching these stupid animes like Naruto and fucking One Piece. And you're sitting down there aging. Next thing you know, you're like 30 or 40 years old. And you don't even realize where all the time went, right? Not in China. Mom is down your throat. Or just like these females. Because there's a lot of female incels in America. See, the problem is the women use incels as a pejorative to make fun of men. What you don't realize is how many women are living in their daddy's attic, aging, single, childless, and they don't have their dad on their neck telling them, no, it's time for you to get up, go get a man. See, it's just like that story I keep telling you about the Eagles. When the eagles lay their eggs and they have those baby eaglets, right? At first, they create a nice soft nest with nice soft material, right? But eventually the eagles look at each other and say, nah, it's time for this motherfucker to get the fuck out of here. So the eagles stop feeding the baby eaglets. They take the soft material out and the spikes and the spines in the nest start sticking at them. It's very uncomfortable. And eventually the eaglets get the idea. They're like, yeah, mom and dad are kicking me the fuck out. I got to go out and be an eagle. And the sad thing is, your parents have to do that because that's part of the process of the cycle of life. If they don't kick you out, your lazy ass will stay right there in the basement or you'll stay right there in daddy's attic and you will be old, single, and childless. And that's just the problem. So they got to kick your ass out. But these American parents are afraid of their kids. They're afraid to have these they are afraid to say anything. They're terrified of these kids. Why are you paying a cell phone bill for a kid who don't have a job? Why? Why? You're afraid of, you're terrified of these kids because you're afraid of what they'll do to your ass. Because these kids are looking at you like you're nothing more than a walking lottery ticket. And if you raise your voice too much at them, some of these kids will Michael Myers your ass. That's why you won't say nothing to them.
Is there a reason for that? If I were young, I wouldn't have liked the way you are with no goals in life.
Look at mom. You know what? Let me tell you something. I'm looking at that Chinese mom, and I'm like, wow, what a woman. See, she's got the power to go in there and strike fear into the hearts of these kids. That's what I like. See, the Chinese traditional family structure, that'll last for thousands of years. Not this shit that you see in America, because right now the men are getting passports, they leaving. The women are having hot girl summer, nobody want them. They got their Christmas cake. No Christmas cake, oh! No Christmas cake, no! No one Christmas cake. See, this is what I'm talking about. See, this right here, let me tell you something. The reason why you passport bros are getting their passports, the reason why, is because this is what they want. They want a marriage where they have a wife who's helping them run the household. That's what they want. They're not going to get it here. They're not going to get it here. They're just not going to get it here.
Hey, that's because I don't like those girls. Don't talk nonsense.
Look at that. Mom, look at this mom running up to you like she's about to slap your face. Like, look at that mom. Look at her turning her nose up. About to slap your face. Mom, the way you are, look at yourself in the mirror. Oh, my goodness, Jesus.
The way you are? Look at yourself in the mirror. Don't you dream pie in the sky. You're dreaming.
See, that's what we're talking about. Every single day that you come home, your home life with your mom and your dad is going to be like Squid Games. That's what we're talking about. Now, I know Squid Games is South Korean, but I'm just saying it's going to be a rough, tumultuous relationship with your parents. That's what we're talking about. Now, I want to go back to that story, and I want to actually show you the article about what these... Now, if you've got Chinese friends, don't be afraid to talk to them about this, because chances are your Chinese friends are feeling very, very anxious if they're not married and they don't have children and they're above the age of 25. They may be feeling quite anxious. And God forbid they're above the age of 30 and they're single and childless. They may be feeling very, very anxious right now. So you might want to have a talk with them so you can, just talk to them just to see how they're feeling. Because chances are their parents ain't having it. The worst part about going to a foreign country is not knowing what to do, not knowing where to have fun, not having any guides, not having anyone to be with, being lonely, not knowing what to do from day to day. One of the worst things you can ever feel in a foreign country is loneliness. Sometimes you go to a foreign country, you don't have friends who've gone with you. Maybe you're an expatriate. Maybe you're a worker in a foreign country. Perhaps you're in Vietnam. Perhaps you go to Vietnam outsourced by your IT company, and you don't know what to do or who to meet. Well, Vietnamese Wingman or VietnamWingman.com is here to help you. If you're looking for friends, language partners, relationships, marriage, Vietnamese Wingman, VietnamWingman.com is here to help you to have a great time in Vietnam. Meet somebody, meet a friend, meet a woman, meet a wife. They are here to help you do that. So check out Vietnam Wingman and enjoy the rest of the story.
To be continued.